What's going on, YouTube? And welcome to part 2 of Fandemonia's Sports Opinion with our super fan of the week, Mr. Shane Morris. As if you watched some of them, there was a "Where Are You, Shane Morris" invite to this show, and this is part 2. As you've seen in part 1, if you watched the whole thing, we got a little long-winded. So making a part 2, figured take advantage of Mr. Morris's time since it took him so long to join the show. How you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
All right, we're gonna continue some rapid fire. We're gonna do some opinions here. This is gonna be more opinion based, unless there's some other sports topics you'd like to talk about.
Ready for rapid fire.
Ready for rapid fire? Okay. Greatest running back you've ever seen?
Barry Sanders, hands down.
Barry Sanders. I'm going to go out on a limb because I'm unconventional. I'm going with Vincent Edward Bo Jackson, folks. If you have not seen Bo, if you're from a different generation, you need to watch some Bo footage. He kind of hurt himself being a two-sport athlete, I think. His body broke down, and that's why he never really recovered from the hip injury, but watch some Bo. First man ever to have 290-plus touchdown runs. Single-handedly ruined Brian Bosworth's career. He was a highlight film, and what people don't remember, he wasn't even the starter because basically it was Marcus Allen's team. Out of respect for Marcus, they'd start him because Bo only played 8 to 9 games a year because he played for the Royals all year, and Mr. Jackson, would still have like 15 carries, $120, and a couple touchdowns. I mean, if he would have played football full time, who knows? I mean, he was basically, he was almost like if there could be a Jim Brown on steroids. I mean, ridiculous. He was way ahead of his time. His career was cut too short. That's my opinion on that. Barry Sanders is definitely not a bad opinion either. Barry Sanders, wonderful running back.
Just a note, Bo Jackson did not receive enough carries in his NFL career to qualify for the Hall of Fame, but he did average 5.8 yards per carry average,
which is the highest in the NFL until Mr. Michael Vick gets enough rushing attempts to qualify with his nice 7.8. Wide receiver.
Jerry Rice.
He's going with Jerry Rice. Once again, see, my opinions are going to be weird because I look at the talent I've seen, and a lot of my guys, their injuries cut their careers too short. I'm going with Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp, the first man to have 100 receptions, was basically once again ahead of his time. He is then what receivers are now, what they want them to be now: fast, physical, strong, tall. If he wouldn't have got hurt, which was crushing to me because he got hurt against Atlanta. The Green Bay won that game. Brett Favre snuck it in on a touchdown. They got to the playoffs. For Green Bay's, I think it was their first playoff run under Brett Favre. And, I just wonder if that's one of them what ifs. Like, if Sterling Sharp would have stayed healthy with Brett Favre and Green Bay, oh my goodness, that would have been ridiculous.
Absolutely. And if the question was worded the greatest player that could have been, I would have agreed with Earl. Bo Jackson, Sterling Sharp, all day.
Yeah. Now, this is the topic I'm going to ask you about because this is the one that it's funny with people. You can test their football knowledge with this one. Greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh, man. Greatest QB of all time? I think he's playing right now. I think it's Tom Brady.
Tom Brady? Why Tom Brady?
Tom Brady, his pocket presence is ridiculous. Yeah, he's not much of a scrambler. His accuracy is ridiculous. His quarterback and football knowledge is outrageous. I mean, the man's a stud. He's, drafted in the 6th round out of Michigan. Didn't have no potential.
Michigan.
Yeah, boo
Continue.
Michigan. No potential, coming out of the draft and everything. Tom Brady, I hand it to you. I don't really care so much for the Patriots or Brady himself, but you can't take that away. He's like the Kobe Bryant of football in my book.
Okay, and, folks, we try to be unbiased on this show. The only bias we will show is
Michael Vick.
Well, Michael Vick is... We show bias against Michigan. Boo Michigan, OSU forever. But the reason I say that, and I'm going to get my little thing on my opinion, as you can see if you watched one of my posts earlier with the Brett Favre, so everybody knows my opinion. it's kind of funny, and like I said, you test people's football knowledge because people want to throw the championships up, kind of like what I said was with Brett Favre, where I felt he needed one more. But it's funny to me because every time I talk to somebody about sports, which is what I don't do in my personal life as far as at work or something, is they're like, this, Tom Brady, because he's got championships meaning. I'm like, okay, well then is Otto Graham the greatest quarterback of all time? Because what, he's got like 8, 9, 10 NFL championships. You know what I'm saying? So that's the discussion I always have. Just like it's like Jordan, to me, is the greatest basketball player I've ever seen of all time. But Bill Russell's got all the titles, so you know what I'm saying?
I wasn't saying Tom Brady because of New England's championships, because they obviously
I
did it
understand.
as a team.
I'm just wanting that reference because that's a discussion. That's one of them discussions on why I don't talk about sports much in the workplace and the social life, etc. Most undervalued NFL player of all time.
Deshaun Jackson.
I'm gonna have to say it. Of all time,
I'll say mine since he's thinking.
I want to say Rod Woodson, but go ahead. Let me think about it for a second.
I'm gonna go and everybody see we're talking about the unbiased. I'm rocking the Browns. I'm gonna say it's Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw gets no respect from anybody. Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls, and everybody wants to say defense, but like I said in our Super Bowl preview, in between Terry Bradshaw and Ben Roethlisberger, how many Super Bowls did that defense win? 0. Okay? Terry Bradshaw, and he also played in an era where he basically was the offensive coordinator. That's back when quarterbacks called their own plays. They called their own game plan. So Bradshaw could have been greedy and be like, you know what, I'm gonna revolutionize the game. I'm gonna chuck it up 40 times a game. No, he didn't. He knew how to keep the team balanced. You know what I'm saying? I think Terry Bradshaw, and he's got 4 rings. You know what I'm saying? To show for it. I think Terry Bradshaw is definitely the most underrated football player of all time.
I'm gonna go ahead and change it up. I'm gonna go with I gotta say Rod Woodson. He's never in discussions for defensive backs. He's holds numerous NFL records for defense, and I know that Terry Bradshaw was unappreciated, underrated. He was, but I gotta go with Rod Woodson.
And Rod Woodson to me is a perfect example of why Terry Bradshaw is even more unappreciated, because Rod Woodson was a defensive captain on a team that didn't win Super Bowls until he went to Baltimore. But that's another discussion. Personally, folks, me and Shane have had numerous discussions. I don't like to get into Rod Woodson talk because, to me, Ronnie Lott, I even brought the facts out to Mr. Morris. Did I not bring the crushing facts of Ronnie Lott out to you? Because you like to hold the interceptions of Rod Woodson's. When Ronnie Lott retired, at that same point in Rod Woodson's career, Ronnie Lott had more interceptions than Rod Woodson. It took Rod Woodson 4 more years of playing to have more interceptions than Ronnie Lott.
2 different positions. Ronnie Lott was a strong safety and a free safety. Rod Woodson, the first 9 years of his career, he played defensive back. When he was moved,
how many championships does Ronnie Lott have?
Rod Woodson never had a Jerry Rice. He never had a Montana. He never had a Roger Craig.
Okay, we're going to get off this subject because this is getting long-winded, folks. If you have any opinions, please let us know. Let's see. Greatest sport out there that people don't watch enough of. It's rapid fire, not long-winded fire.
No.
I'm going to go with rugby, folks. Rugby is almost a man's sport. It's hitting with no pads. It's out there. It's hard to understand. You sit there and a little referee doing these little things like that, and you don't know what the hell's going on, but rugby's on point. You know what I'm saying?
That was a good Chris Farley impersonation.
Oh, I could do the fat guy in a little coat. You know what? If you demand it, I'm telling you right now, YouTube, if enough people, I want some comments, enough of y'all do it, I'll do the Chris Farley Chippendales from Saturday Night Live. I swear, I'll put it on YouTube for y'all. If I can get 20 comments on this post by itself, I will do the Chris Farley on YouTube, the Chippendales. Okay?
I'll be sure to go home and start creating my fake account.
So, there gotta be some legitimate real stuff, okay? None of the fake stuff. Don't be telling all your boys just so I do the Chris Farley. I want some legitimate things. So, Let's see. Baseball player. Greatest baseball player of all time.
Like you said, I would have to go with Bo Jackson. If he committed 24/7 into baseball, I think hands down, not only the best football or baseball player, the best overall athlete of all time.
Definitely. You know, him in prime time, they put it down. You know, for the two sport athletes. Right now, to be honest with you, I really can't. My pick, honestly, is I still think he hasn't been proven guilty. He was part of the steroid era. It'll be controversial. Barry Bonds. I mean, his steroids didn't make his hand-eye coordination. You know what I'm saying? They've done scientific studies that people that have done steroids only add 3 to 5 feet to home runs. You know what I'm saying? There's been no proof he knowingly did it. I mean, if he knowingly did it and really lied, why is this perjury case taking so long to drag through the court system? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many years are we talking? And it's just kind of sad, you know, all the other steroid players, they got to still play. A-Rod, everybody forgets about A-Rod, and Bonds kind of got blackballed out of baseball. So, what we got there, cameraman?
2.
2 minutes left?
Baseball
3.
alone, in my book, I can't even watch baseball anymore because the whole steroid era was like a conspiracy theory to begin with. And Barry Bonds was the best home run hitter of all time, but I mean, steroids is just ridiculous. Our kids grow up watching baseball and watching these athletes act like fools. And if they want to use steroids, I don't have a problem with that because I want to see, you know, long home runs. I want to see more home runs. To me, baseball is a joke anymore, and they're just adjusting it to.
Folks, Fandamonia Ltd. is not Shane Morris does not represent Fandamonia Ltd. We're not encouraging kids to do steroids. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Basically,
kids watch wrestling.
My whole
kids watch
that
wrestling.
Is true.
So
my whole point with the steroid thing is that steroids were invented in the 1930s by a boxing trainer to help boxers heal cuts faster. Okay? At any point in time, any of them players all through the years could have been using roids and nobody knows it. I mean, you know, Babe Ruth, who everybody calls the greatest of all time, was out getting drunk, doing drugs, banging hookers, and then just showing up at the ballpark slamming home runs. I mean, Mickey Mantle already admitted how he was boozing and just straight up showing at the ballpark and doing what he did. I mean, let's face it, folks. I mean, you don't know. We want to act all, you know, uppity now. We're a politically correct, uppity society. But you don't know. You don't know that roids weren't being done in baseball. Baseball, get over your history. Get over yourself. And maybe you'll get back to, because right now you're not America's pastime. You're not America. Well, yeah, you are the pastime. You're past tense because you right there with the NHL. I'll watch golf before I watch baseball anymore. It's all about football. But thank you, folks. We're running out of time. Fandamonia Ltd. You can hit us up, Fandamonia Ltd. at att.net. You can hit up our Twitter page, twitter.com/Fandamonia Ltd. You can also Facebook, search Fandamonia Ltd. Hit that like button. Of course, you're on here YouTube with us, Fandamonia Ltd. channel. And we want to give another shout out once again, Vanderlei Silva, greatest light heavyweight fighter of all time. First athlete to follow us on Twitter, Mike Vick. Get on board, homie.
Can I say something?
I'm telling you, go right ahead.
Camera hog. Travis Pastrana, NASCAR Nationwide Series. It's going down. I can't wait.
Why didn't you talk about none of this when I tried to put you on
I
the
didn't have a
spot?
chance because Boss Hog had the mic the whole time. Kids, don't do steroids unless you're going to be a professional athlete.
Don't do 'em!
Don't do Roy. He is not a representative of Fandamonia Ltd., folks.
But I am a fan.
Okay, and we appreciate your fanness. Hopefully we can see Mr. Morrison videos soon to come. Thank you, folks. Run out of time. Have a good one.